Hi, welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about David Hume. Hume was born in Scotland and lived from 1711 to 1776. He is one of the most important empiricist philosophers. Empiricism is the belief that we can only know things through our sense experience. Knowledge only comes through our eyes, ears, touch, and other senses. This idea is in opposition to rationalism, which we saw with Descartes in the last video. Hume and the other empiricists see that rationalism is incomplete. It is too disconnected from our everyday experience. If only what we can know using pure reason is valid, then that leaves out a lot of what we experience around us. To preserve our everyday sense experience, Hume wants to show just how limited our reason really is. The human mind, according to Descartes, is the thing about us that makes us distinctively human. For Hume, however, the mind is not so special. In fact, he says that reason is slave to the passions. The only thing that is in our minds is the collection of our sense experience. We cannot know anything apart from this sense experience. Anything using pure reason, or any sort of knowledge apart from sheer physical reality, is entirely out of the question, since it cannot be sensed. The only things besides sense experience that we can know are tautologies, things which must be true by definition. For instance, all circles are round. This puts some pretty serious limits on what we can know, but it gets even more bleak than that. Hume also says, although everything in our minds comes only from our sense experience, we still cannot know anything for sure about our sense experience. This is because learning from our senses is inductive. In induction, we reason based on a sample. Something happens many times, so we say it will happen every time. For instance, every time so far that water has dropped to 32 degrees, it has frozen, so it will freeze every time. An argument from induction is reasonable, but you still don't technically know it's always true. Maybe something will go wrong and water won't freeze the next time it drops to 32 degrees. It's very, very unlikely, but it could happen. Hume says that any knowledge we can get from our sense experience is inductive. Any laws of nature, or metaphysical principles, aren't themselves sensible, but we think they're true because we're using our sense experience as a sample. This means that these principles aren't really certain after all. Hume uses this argument to attack metaphysical concepts which had been widely accepted, such as cause and effect. Hume likes to use the example of playing pool. We all agree that if you hit one pool ball into another, it will knock it forward. The reason is because we have always seen pool balls act this way. This, however, is an argument from induction, and so we don't really know. It could be that the next time we hit a pool ball, it will explode. Hume doesn't deny that everything really does seem to follow the law of cause and effect, but he says that we cannot know there is a real connection. We only say there is because we've seen it happen every time so far. The connection between the two is only custom, not certain knowledge. As you can see, Hume doesn't think that we can really know much with absolute certainty. This goes to the opposite extreme as Descartes and the other rationalists, who sometimes, in emphasizing the human mind, can make it seem too important, ignoring the physical, everyday world. Hume reasserts the importance of the physical world, but at the expense of the mind. Some philosophers take seriously the skeptical position of Hume's philosophy and doubt our ability to have certain knowledge about metaphysical issues. Others, however, see his philosophy as limiting the mind too much. Next time, we'll be looking at a philosopher who had respect for Hume and even said that Hume awoke him from his dogmatic slumbers, but who also sees Hume as not giving the mind full credit and wants to rescue it. We hope you join us again to hear about Immanuel Kant. Happy philosophizing!